I hope you threw your phone the day you texted me like the screen burned to the touch. Like nerves were electricity and you were currently experiencing such. Writing and rewriting and thinking again. And suddenly deciding what would happen if suddenly. Then. I answered. What then? I answered. What now? All your courage lines at the stage, about ready to take its bow. Exits at the curtain, the lights dimmed to set. What's worse than messaging someone new, messaging someone you've already met? A long time ago, we went to school together. You were too cool for me, so a crush became forgotten because what else was it going to be? You were pretty in the poetic way that makes biologists have to rhyme, but we never had a class together. So there was never any time to talk to me, so in passing, we knew but didn't know each other or the other places that a friendship could go. I wish that you had talked to me the first time back then. I think it would have saved me from a lot of emotionally unavailable men. And I hadn't really thought about it. But suddenly there we both are. It's the first week of orientation, and I don't leave in somebody else's car. Instead, I'm walking on old campus. Fireflies light the way. I've never lived on the East Coast. I think I'd like to stay. And then suddenly homesickness hits me in the throat as I watch somebody walk away holding a San Francisco tote. I miss home. But new beginnings have a much greater appeal. So I sit on the grass, and each blade of grass I can feel, until hunger roars like a reminder that time still passes until we figure out we might be taking similar classes. So I decide not to hang out with the friends that I don't talk to in the future, and you tell me how you just learned about some non-absorbable suture, and then smiled. Like information is just another excuse to talk. So I say I really need help studying as we go for a little walk up Prospect, down Whitney, the loop to East Rock, for the first time in a long time. I'm not nervous to talk. You didn't flirt with me immediately or do some grand dance of making me feel like I just had to for some reason give you a chance. I did give you a chance. You didn't know it, but I did. It was paired with a ride home and a "so where the heck have you been?" And I was wearing an outfit that was meant to be quiet because I was sick of men looking at me like I was an expensive toy and they hoped to one day buy it. So you looked at me like I wore a nice sweater. You look comfortable, you said. Well, I thought I looked like I had just gotten out of bed. And pretty. The word held in the wind like it was my hand. When some kids passed in front of the car carrying instruments. I think they must be in a band. And we watched in silence as I set my hand towards your seat as the drummer grabbed carrots from a grocery bag and him and his partner hummed to a beat. You didn't flirt with me, but your hand inched closer towards my seat as you talked about all the places that you always hoped you would someday meet. But it rested just seconds before meeting its fate as you asked me to switch places because it was getting pretty late. You didn't flirt with me, but you drove my car without making a big deal that I was scared. Said my place looked great when both of us knows and nothing in it was prepared. When we cooked for the sake of making a meal, not for tasting along the way, I think you redefined my expectation by not flirting with me that day. But by putting a blanket over me and sleeping on the floor instead of asking me or assuming I'd want to be or do something more. When I woke up and the kitchen was cleaned, the trash was taken out, when I realized at no point had you left room for any doubt. The house was full of something that some would have called desire, but instead you wrote me a poem to tell me that I'm someone you deeply admire. You didn't flirt with me in the way I was used to or expected. Instead, you made me feel like I was someone you deeply respected. When you asked me what was wrong, and I broke down crying, And we went and decorated a cake to celebrate the fact that I was still trying when the coffee was terrible, but you still gulped it down, and we both started to laugh as I tried it with a frown. We switched places. You drove. You parked at my house. You were the kind of friend you secretly hope becomes your spouse. And you walked to my door, and before you left, you held my hand with the softest of glances, with a promise to make sure I'd land. I'd never seen her smile like that before, and I saw her smile all the time. We used to joke about how she'd have this series of events that would always lead up to her having to rhyme. She wasn't an unhappy person, but it was like there was a door that she kept locked that started with her making the first move in a man inevitably being blocked. So we started to make jokes about how her soulmate got caught, that love was an idea that she no longer bought. I had never seen her smile like that before. And she smiled like she hid the sun, like daylight had been saved, like the winter was done. Her smile brightened, like the time had gone back, like it was 6 p.m. on a Sunday in April, and her warmth didn't lack. She didn't say that she had met someone, but it slowly started to show, like there was a special place in her heart that her mind would sometimes go. Eventually, when asked about it, she smiled and shook her head. So how did you choose that one? I think my heart chose for me instead. In rhythm, in moment, in action, in thought, we started to joke about how she found the love others wished could be bought. I had never seen her smile like that before, but the day he showed up, she put her glass to her face and her smile shone through the cup. Like everything she had given was finally being returned, like she not only believed she was lovable, but that her love had been earned through patience and worry and consideration and time. We used to joke about how someday somebody would turn her into a rhyme, a household name, a movie, and a sequel. We used to say that life would come, but for now we were forced to endure its prequel. I had never seen her smile like that, but I had seen her cry. And that was when I knew he wasn't gonna be just some guy.